Yo, what's up, Prophecy Cup? For tonight's match, we got IRL Sluts coming in hot and Team O on the red side.
You overstep. Not a problem.
And it looks like we're getting through our first ban phase for both sides. First bans being Brandon MF on the side of IRL Sluts, and Timo banning out Kindred and Kaisa. Very strong picks right now.
Grounded.
And we're going to see Talia finish up the ban phase for RL. And Timo going down to the last second here on the final ban is going to be Braum. Banned away to prevent a potential funnel strat or potentially take it away from 2 Poppy, aka Daddy Nahor. And IRL Sluts are actually going to go ahead and pick up the Morgana for their first pick on blue side. And we see a Sivir surprisingly getting locked in. I haven't seen that in a while. We'll see what it pairs with. It's generally a very good pick for a team fight. And we're going to get the Zac coming out for Givante, followed by a Sejuani pick on the other side. So both teams now with an ORNN pick for IRL Sluts, looking like they want a lot of engage tools. Plenty of engage, plenty of utility from both sides. Lacking a bit of damage still for the side of IRL Sluts, unless of course they do decide to build that Morgana into a full AP Morgana in bot lane, in which case it packs quite a bit of a punch that a lot of players won't expect. So we'll see where they put that. It also is a pick that has the potential to have a lot of wave clear and can constantly compete with that Sivir for shoving in the lane if they do decide to put it in bot lane. We're going to see a TF ban from Timo. Perhaps something they don't want Morale to have, if it's any indication. And now we have the secondary drafting phase going on. Rakan and Orianna. Pretty sweet bands on the side of our Sluts. Xerath as well being taken away from Morale. And we'll see what Morale picks up here. And Caitlyn, a very nice pickup for iGlory. Definitely a Swiss Army knife, sort of a AD carry at the moment. Has a very strong laning phase, can easily shove in the lane and push down that first turret for first turret blood, and generally scales very well. And Kennen actually going to be the final lock-in from Team O. And that's a bit of a surprise because it's not a traditional mid lane pick. If they do end up flexing it into the top lane, that would mean that Gangplank would end up in the mid lane as well, which is strange. So definitely a different take on the current meta from Team O, utilizing their AD carry as a utility champion with the Sivir. Does pack a lot of damage, but is very low range. Gonna have a lot of difficulty in this Caitlyn lane, and pairing it with two champions that have bruiser kind of mentality and should be able to benefit a lot from the speed boost that Sivir provides. And as we enter the spectator delay, I'm going to start updating my layout here so we get the proper teams up on the scoreboard. I'll be interested to see how Morale ends up playing out this laning phase, because LeBlanc is a type of champion that does have the ability to snowball very early and get a nice lead off of potential kills, potential 2v2s in the mid lane, or even just pressuring the enemy champion off of CS. So that will be a nice lane to watch. And going up against Kennen, which is a very atypical mid laner, not something you usually see in that lane, it'll be interesting to see how Hamlet plays the lane out as well. And of course, beyond, the simple fact that both these teams have a bit of a history with each other, sometimes trading players back and forth over the past couple months now, this is a nice matchup for potential playoff spots. Currently, Team O is sitting in 8th place, so they're right outside of the sweet spot for playoffs. A win tonight would definitely boost them up to 3 and 4 and put them in the 6th place spot for the playoffs. And a loss would most certainly make it very difficult for them to finish out the season with a playoff berth. On the other side, we have IRL Sluts, who are currently sitting in 5th place, so they're a bit of a borderline team as well. And without a win here, they will be hard-pressed to maintain their 5th place spot as well. So 2 teams that, have had their ups and downs so far, but here in week 6, we'll see what they can do to, make that dream of a playoff berth all that much closer. And taking a look at runes, we have pretty standard stuff. We got the double Grasp of the Undying in the top lane, which has become really synonymous for top laners, given that there's not many other options for the tanks. And it's a nice pickup onto Gangplank as well nowadays, because it does percent max health damage with the parlay, Gangplank's Q. So he will be able to sustain fairly well. The problem with taking the Grasp of the Undying is, of course, that you do miss out on the other rune, other keystone that will give you extra gold, and it does make it difficult for the Gangplank to sustain in terms of mana. But at least he won't be losing out on too much HP during the trades. And we're going to get a pause coming out here. Looks like Ian, VV3, is having some issues here. Or maybe it's just Javante, actually, and Papi Chulo, a.k.a. Kiyoshi. And it's nice to see Kiyoshi back reunited on the starting roster, or at least for now, starting this series with Daddy Nahor, and 3 completely new players when compared to last season's roster for the mid lane, jungle, and AD carry positions of IRL Sluts. One thing I didn't note was that it looks like Gavroche and Svensson are both playing the bot lane this time. Which I believe is a bit of a different iteration for them. They've been running Panda Parade in the support role the past few games, so they're actually brought on Gavroche, and Svensson usually plays AD carry for them, but this time he's taken over the role of support with the Janna, as Gavroche is a AD carry player. And again, IRL Sluts turning to Ian VV3 for the jungle role this time. He's been their sub for a few weeks now, and I believe he got playing time, or may have played the entire series last week that they had versus the Hashslinging Slashers. iGlory coming in off the bench as well in place of Socratic in the AD carry role. And we're going to see a 5-stack here coming out from IRL Sluts. Kennen going to see us spot this out most likely. And this should all but dissolve the IRL Sluts attempts here, unless they AFK here in the bush. But they're going to be spotted out for sure now. Going to get a ward down onto the enemy blue buff. Meanwhile, Kennen on the opposite side has put a nice ward over the blue buff camp wall to get some vision on that start if Ian does decide to start the blue buff. And Teemo didn't see them walk out, but they're gonna sit here anyway. Or they may have seen them walk out, not sure. Oh, and yep. Sedge didn't have any items there, which is why she actually recalled. I was a little bit confused about that. But not having items, a lot worse than, you know, staying on the map. So we're going to see an early trade coming out here from Tim T and Kiyoshi. Goes a little bit in the favor of Kiyoshi there, but that's what you expect from the ORNN, who's actually a very strong laner nowadays, even though he is the quintessential tank. Nice binding coming out there from Daddy Nahort, aka 2 Poppy. And I still remember when he was Darth Nahor. It's been a while now. He's been in the league for about 4 seasons, I want to say, or 3 seasons. Yeah, I think he came in during season 2. Pretty standard stuff here. Caitlyn getting the first early shove. Really nice trading going. Really less of trading, more of just shoving in. Putting a lot of pressure on the Gavroche, who's seeing some of his first playing time in Prophecy Cup this season. Sejuani and Zach both pathing topside now. Sejuani going to take the Scuttle Crab, it looks like, after placing a ward in the topside jungle. So Zach currently just power farming, not going to have much pressure. Not too much that we're going to see out of him. In case, though, they run into each other here, and they're going to actually run into each other. Ian's going to go in, get the stun off, going to pop the passive on Javante. This is really bad news for him. It pulls Gangplank out of his lane. He's going to... Oh, thanks for the follow, D-Sub77. Actually, I'm not sure if that's for our stream or for the other stream, but thank you. And, yeah, it's going to set Gangplank back a little bit. It's also going to obviously make any Zac ganks all that more vulnerable because he's not going to have that passive for the next few minutes. You see Sejuani pathing up here, Javante matching. Ian's actually going to opt to recall in the brush. And it looks like Kiyoshi's going to spot this one out in top lane because he's going to back up a little bit. Really nice instincts from him. Just gonna channel his construction there, get some cloth armors. I definitely don't like seeing the double cloth armor. I'd rather him buy a ruby crystal and a cloth armor if possible. But it looks like he's gonna actually start building into what could be maybe a brambles or potentially Glacial Shroud. Iglory hitting level 4 here with 2 Poppy. They're going to walk forward. This is going to be bad news for Svensson if he gets hit, but Sivir with a nice spell shield to block that for his support. Everyone holding on to their summoners except for mid lane, actually. I didn't see that. I wanted to look at top lane, but it looks like they actually exchanged a pair of flashes for one another, and Morale having used the ignite. Hamlet getting back to mid lane a little bit quicker because he's got the teleport, obviously, and it's gonna net him like one. Nope, they're exactly even on farm. So yeah, this definitely the lane to watch. Like I said earlier, not too much so far in terms of results. They're dead even. But these are both teams' carries for sure. They're top ranked players in terms of solo queue. And there's been a bit of a debate going on, at least on the talk show, about which player is strongest, which is the best mid lane and the strongest mid laner in Prophecy Cup at the moment. Hamlet actually hitting 6 there early, but Morale might be able to walk out. He doesn't have 6 yet. He's going to get saved here by an Ian with a nice stun onto Hamlet. But is Ian possibly dead here? Nope, he's going to flash out. Daddy Nahor, or excuse me, Kyoshi with a nice first blood coming on off the roam, and Giovanti's going to kill himself. Really nice roam there coming out from Papichulo. And he has indeed picked up that Brambles Vest, which you kind of have to shake your head at. I don't understand why you would want to buy that item in place of something that would give you a bit more health and be a little bit more potent against and the ability of power, or excuse me, the spell power, AD spell power from Gangplank. So it's definitely an item that he's opted to take early, which seems a bit more geared against the Sivir, which he, you know, won't be interacting with anytime soon, but at least he'll have it for when he needs it in the late game team fights. Gangplank roaming down here, maybe getting some vision on the topside jungle of IRL Sluts. Giovanti's going to back him up. It looks like they're actually going to take this Rift, or the Scuttle Crab, excuse me. Meanwhile, we have a bit of a standstill in bot lane. Caitlyn got her first recall off slightly after Sivir, and Sivir's going to use that time to get some chip damage on the bot lane turret. Personally, I'd have liked to seen perhaps a recall coming out from Gavroche, and this is the punish. Big punish coming out from IRL Sluts. You don't want to push up that far when you don't need to with a Sivir. She was sitting on 900 gold, and I think they would have been wiser to use that time to reset their health bars, pick up potentially another item, but it looked as well that Sivir wanted to stay on the map for a BF Sword, so that's sort of one of the unsung problems with not being able to choose when you recall, is you don't normally get to choose which item that you purchase. So itemization problems already coming out from the side of Teemo based on their inferior lane matchup here. Javante being a little bit of a pest. He has his passive back up again. He's going to clear this pink ward, but it's likely going to get replaced as soon as 2Poppy comes back from base with what is looking like another control ward. Morale posturing in the mid lane. He's a little bit down now in CS, but he does have those 2 assists. Most of that gold going over to Ian, actually, and let's see if they actually pass this blue buff off. I would have liked to seen them pass that blue buff off, but it looks like Morale has indicated that he actually doesn't need it. So a little bit more XP for the jungler. And this lead that IRL has accumulated is actually not as extreme as it looks like on the scoreboard at first glance, because of how much gold has gone over to the Sejuani and how really unused that will be for the next for at least the next few minutes. But the increased takiness, not so bad, at least for the mid game fights. Papichulo taking a nice little chunk out of Tim T, but not too much damage on him at the moment. We're gonna see some pings coming out on the side of IRL Sluts. Morale had to waste his flash there in the engage. Oh, we're actually going to see an engage here in bot lane. Gangplank putting down the ult, and Ian's going to whiff on his ult. Going to continue to chase, though. Janna has both summoners, and she's going to flash out. Nice job there from Ian getting the flash, at least. Staying very persistent with that chase when his allies weren't able to. Morale pushing out mid lane. Gonna get the extra CS that Kennen will miss off of that teleport in bot lane. Morale's actually gonna have her ignite coming up soon, so she will have kill pressure on the mid lane. And Hamlet actually itemizing very intelligently, picking up the stopwatch in anticipation of that. Take a look at the gold right now. We have a little bit of a lead for IRL Sluts across the map, but it's slowly been diminishing. Top lane is all but even. Mid lane, very even. Everything's even, except for the jungle matchup, which has gone heavily into Ian. He's looking for a gank here onto the vulnerable gangplank, and that's not very good coordination coming out from the top jungle duo here. Oh, and we're actually going to have a Javante Elastic Slingshot, but all he's going to get is a slap on the back onto the Sejuani, who quickly leaves. He's going to charge up another Elastic Slingshot, but this is not a good idea for the most part. Timty going to back off here, maybe pop a ward down to brush. Nope. And this is going fairly swimmingly now for Teemo in the top side because of their ability to have that gangplank ultimately scale up, potentially putting a lot of pressure on the side lane. Ninja Tabby being completed by Poppy Chulo. Glacial Shroud as well. So he has a bit of a item advantage, but he hasn't completed a full item yet, and Gangplank is going to probably pick up that Triforce. Yep. Gangplank gets the Triforce, 13 minutes, very strong. The only thing he has to watch out for now is a Sejuani dive in top lane, which is what I would expect Ian to be looking for. I didn't like what I saw from them coordinating that gank about a minute ago, because Ian looked very tentative going in on the Gangplank, but if he's able to... Oh my. Hamlet with a very early stopwatch. It's going to put him in a vulnerable situation for when LeBlanc gets down here eventually. Caitlyn going to channel her ultimate. This is going to call Tim T down to the bot lane, but this is not a good Gangplank teleport. And as you can see, Tim T sacrifices a lot for his team there, and it's going to cost him in the top lane. Missing out on a huge wave. Not what you like to see from your top laner there when the fight is all but over. And Morale is actually looking here for a kill on Hamlet. Hamlet's going to channel his ult, but that's a little bit early, and I think this is Hamlet going down. Yep. Nice play there from Morale, understanding the situation, knowing that the stopwatch is broken. And oh, Javante's actually going to get picked off here. Timty's rooted up. Gangplank having to flash out. Another great binding coming from 2 Poppy. Jan is going to be the sacrificial lamb, and oh, they're actually going to get another great stun onto Tim T, and that's going to be what is effectively a 4-for-0 for IRL Sluts, showing a lot of sound sort of play right here. Definitely looking a lot better than they were against the Hashling Slashers. And you gotta wonder if this team is making this game look much easier versus Teemo. You gotta wonder if perhaps Hashling Slashers are really the team that's undervalued by most of the community. Perhaps the Slashers are actually much more potent than we all thought, given how much difficulty they gave over to the IRL Sluts in the last series that we saw them play. Morale replacing his control ward in an really inconvenient spot in order to deny that control ward kill, which is not something you like to see, because effectively it's just wasted gold on his side. He's denying gold from the other side, but this is not useful. And we take a look at the gold again. We see Poppy Chulo having a 400 gold lead now in top lane. Ian with an even more massive gold lead in the jungle. Mid lane fairly even, and bot lane actually way ahead for iGlory right now. Picking up a Stormrazor Surge actually, and we're gonna have to actually see Morale come out here in top lane, put a lot of hurt on Timty. Hamlet's a little bit late here with the teleport, but he does eventually get up here, and he's gonna channel his ultimate, get some nice chip down onto damage onto Morale. He's actually gonna get him with the final Q there. Poppy Chulo's gonna finish him off in return. Nice job there from Hamlet. At least, you know, getting a kill off of that horrible situation. And I will say, the scaling is on the side of Teemo, but it's not really significant scaling difference. It's fairly similar. I think in general you expect the Gangplank to outscale the Ornn, but if IRL Sluts contains this lead and contains vision control over the neutral buffs, then Teemo will have a very tough time coming back in this game, just because of how potent Ornn can be from the Fog of War, and how difficult it is for Zac to get onto the carries here. We're actually going to see 2 Poppy picking up a kill onto Janna, and Gavroche following suit. Going down. Javante trying to get the last kill here, but oh, Poppy Chulo is pretty big here. He's going to... Oh, nice parlay coming out from Timty. He's going to finish off Ian. Get the shutdown gold. That's a lot. 675 gold. Poppy Chulo is still running at. There's very low health bars on the side of Teemo here. And I think Morale smells some blood here. He has both charges of his ultimate. No, he actually does not have his ultimate, so he decides not to dive them there, which I think is a prudent decision. But Timty's going to actually opt to stay here with the red buff. He's very vulnerable here. Poppy Chulo's going to have his ultimate in about 5 seconds, and I think they can go for the dive here, especially given that Morale is so far ahead with the... Oh, wow! Javante's actually going to start this fight off, and Timty's going to ult. Nice ult! Oh, he parlays the wrong target, but Hamlet's going to get in here anyway, stunning up Morale and finishing him off. And wow! Tons of damage coming out from the Gangplank there onto Poppy Chulo. Finishes him off, too. Crazy slew of events there. And so assessing the back end of that fight, we saw that Javante really didn't have any qualms about going in there, even with 1/3 health. And they're able to kill both the solo laners, which is really big. I believe that Gangplank actually got both of the shutdown golds from Shizwani and Ornn. Meanwhile, Caitlyn's going to take this mid lane turret, and again, we're seeing the power of the Caitlyn in the hands this time of Iglar. Javante going to get rooted up here, nothing doing. Going to finish off the Raptor camp. But this is a problem for sure coming out on the side of Teemo. They're gonna have to find a way to deal with this level 11 iGlory Caitlyn. Javante disengaging. It looked like IRL Sluts wanted to take that Rift Herald, but they're eventually gonna back off. Ian gonna force the flash out of Zimty here. He looks like he oh, he held on nicely, and he's actually gonna miss the... Ian's gonna miss his smiting a minion instead. That's a bit disappointing. But really intelligent job. Really well done there, Tim T, holding on to his remove Scurvy there to get out of the CC lock. Wow, massive burst coming out there from Morale onto the Janna. Pops him with just 3 hits. Hamlet doing his job, getting in there, getting rough and dirty. Takes out Daddy Nahor. Javante hops in, but oh! Morale's gonna juke him out. Go for that Sivir. And he's really committing to Sivir. And he's gonna... Oh, he's really committing now. And Gavarchi's just gonna kill himself. That's what feels bad, man, when you're getting chased down like that. Just save yourself. Let your team do the work. Instead, he turned back for a couple autos and cost him his life. Hamlet with a nice play there to turn that around, and it looks like they're gonna try to pick up this Infernal Drake while both solo laners are dead. Sejuani hopping over the pit. She's gonna go for a steal here. Javante getting low. He's gonna have to smite maybe. Oh, a missed ultimate from Ian, but he's gonna maybe get in the smite range. Meanwhile, Javante gets taken out by Caitlyn over the wall, and Ian's gonna flash out. Oh, bad play there. Coming out on the side of Teemo, but they did what they could. But just a little bit disrespectful. It's going to cost him an Infernal Drake, and it's going to cost him Javante's life. Really nice job there, though, from Igor, showing that he can do a massive amount of burst damage over the wall from long range with the rapid fire cannon and the Storm Razor. And if you're unfamiliar with the changes, this is a new item. It gives you 75 AD, 30% attack speed, so essentially functioning like an Infinity Edge, but with attack speed instead of crit. And obviously the passive giving you Storm's Edge if you haven't attacked in the last second or so. Svensson going down. This bot lane is really struggling versus IRL Sluts bot lane. Oh, if they take out iGlory here, though, it'll be quite worth. She is worth about 100 or 800 gold if they do shut her down. They were able to get iGlory's both flash and heal, so this is when she's most vulnerable. Oh, morale. Boy. Oh, Javante's actually going to get the root down onto iGlory, but you know what? Morale's going to end up with a double kill there. Unfortunate. A bit of a solo mission there coming out from Javante. It's just going to cost him another 30 seconds in the death penalty chamber. And this looks clinical now from IRL. They're also utilizing that Water Drake to heal up a little bit in between fights. But Morale with her massive Thunder Lord's Decree, or excuse me, Electrocute, doing a lot of damage. A lot of burst damage. Especially with her double Sigil of Malice. Which is really where the power is in this old-fashioned LeBlanc. Ian going in on Timty. He has the backup of Morale, and she's going to shut down the Gangplank. Pick up another 450 for herself. She's quite far in the lead here now in terms of gold. You can see that iGlory actually has slightly more, but relative to, you know, their lane opponents, they have a massive lead in terms of mid lane and AD carry. I don't see too much of a chance for Teemo to come back. Javante slingshotting in. Gets a nice pullback there onto 2 Poppy and Ian, but it's not any on any of the carries, so they aren't able to burst them down. They are able to take away Poppy Chulo's flash and stunt this siege, which is a good sign from Teemo. They're fighting back pretty well. We're all going to pick up a last 2 CS before returning to base here. Hamlet going to push out mid lane. Tim T is still in top lane on the Gangplank, just farming away. Slowly catching back up. actually surpassing Papi Chulo in terms of gold right now. And whereas he will have eventually the advantage in the 1v1 versus Papi Chulo's Ornn, he's always going to have to worry about Sejuani and LeBlanc looking for roams on him. He's done the intelligent thing, though. He's gone to bot lane. The lane furthest away from the Baron. Jinx. Oh my. Igor actually autoing that ward there is going to give away their position, and it's going to alert Team O that they're starting the Baron. It could just be a ploy to start off a fight here, but they do manage to get out Timty's teleport. Morale with a nice turn on to Timty. That's going to be him getting chunked down low. Gavroche can't spell shield it. He's got that on cooldown now. And this looks like a pretty one-sided fight. Hamlet getting a kill off the back end onto the support, but it's not going to mean anything. Svensson gonna go down here. If Ian can just get this last auto attack in. Oh no, he's gonna actually chase too far here, and I think, oh, Gavroche gonna get jumped on by Morale, but he finished off the kill on Ian. Really nice job there from TMO to salvage that fight. Nice setup by IRL, but it doesn't net them anything. Papi Chulo getting pulled in. Javante has to flash away though. And it looks like IRL Sluts are just going to settle for a air drake. So no real progress made there from IRL Sluts, which is disappointing, but they are going to at least pick up an extra dragon. They're going to complete it in time as well for there to be another elemental drake. And it's going to be ocean drake for the next one. So if they do kill the Ocean Drake on spawn, that'll mean a 40-minute Elder Drake, which is nice for them. They want it to prolong as long as possible. Well, actually, not really sure who it's nice for. If you're on the side of Team O, you'd like to see that Elder Drake perhaps pop up as soon as possible, because this Caitlyn's going to soon become out of control, but at the same time, you kind of like to wait as well, because Sivir at full items is going to be quite a menace in herself. The farther the game goes on as well, Gangplank gets more potent. We'll see if they look for a fight here again, though. It looks like IRL is posturing for one. A collapse coming in from the top side from LeBlanc. Papi Chulo not utilizing his teleport advantage. Hamlet walking right into Morale, and he's going to get bursted down. But yeah, this has been IRL's strength in getting early advantages and punishing teams for face checking. Their weakness is generally utilizing teleport advantages, though. But in this case, it doesn't matter. They get the pick onto Hamlet, and it's going to cost Team O potentially the game here. Let's see if they bulldozer down another inhib or decide to stay for the Nexus turrets. And they're actually going to walk through mid lane here. It's a little bit of a vulnerable spot for them. They're not really accounting for the fact that they're in a vulnerable spot, but Javante not tanky enough yet. Ult coming out of Papi Chulo. He's going to take one more turret shot, but he's got the shield up. Definitely lazy pathing coming out from IRL Sluts there. It didn't have to go that way. They opened themselves up to a vulnerable potential collapse from Team O, but ultimately nothing doing. Svensson's gonna get in here, finally be able to clear out some vision, which has been their Achilles heel this game. If you're just tuning in, IRL Sluts is on the blue side, and Team O formerly ORNN 2.0 on the red side. And we have a massive advantage for both morale in the mid lane and iGlory in the AD carry position. And really the only saving grace has been Timty on the side of Team O with a slight advantage. Javante hopping in, gonna actually get some CC down onto morale, but it's not gonna matter. Timty a little bit AFK here looking at his minimap. And it's gonna cost him. Oh, he stays alive though. Svensson getting a nice shield down, but he's gonna eventually get taken out. There's just not enough damage right now on the side of Team O. That, you know, in an equal world there, that probably is a fight that goes over to Team O, but okay. Well, Javante hopping in, trying to set up Hamlet, but they're just too far behind at this point. Papi Chulo getting a nice knockup onto the bot lane of Team O, and Morales just going to finish them off. It's going to be game 1 going over to IRL Sluts. And we're going to get into game 2 here as soon as possible. Some damage graphs coming out. Very, very even damage on the side of IRL Sluts. But they're the ones who pull it out. Gavroche on the Sivir, Timty on the Gangplank, and Hamlet on the Kennen, trying to do their best to output as much damage as possible, but it didn't end up being enough. Alrighty. Let's see if we can get into... Oh, sorry. Didn't have it up, but... we'll get into game 2 here.
find them. Cause I've got memories and travel like gypsies in the night. I build a home and wait for someone to tear it down. Then pack it up in boxes, head for the next town. Cause I've got memories and travel like gypsies in the night. And 1,000 times I've seen this road, 1,000 times. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots. I've got no roots. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots. I've got no roots. I like standing still, but that's just a wishful plan. Ask me where I come from, I'll say a different land. But I've got memories and travel like gypsies in the night. I count gates and numbers, then play the guessing game. It's just the place that changes, the rest is still the same. But I've got memories and travel like gypsies in the night. And 1,000 times I've seen this road, 1,000 times. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots. I've got no roots. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots.
So we're seeing the start of the pick band phase coming out.
I like digging holes, hiding things inside them. When I grow old, I won't forget to
IRL Sluts getting penalized for
hiding things inside
tardiness for game 1, so they're going to lose all 3 of their first bands.
them.
They were 20 minutes late, so I thought it was a fair punishment, and the other team did ask whether they were getting punished or not. So Team O on the blue side, banning away Kindred, ORNN, and Kaisa. Gonna first pick Garen, which I assume is a placeholder. And we're gonna see what IRL Sluts pick in the meantime. Well, it was close to 20 minutes. It was like 18, so. Oh, they were definitely in the lobby, Kiyoshi. I'm not sure what you're smoking, but they were definitely in the lobby waiting patiently. Anyway, first pick is going over to Team O. Gonna be, well, we don't know exactly what Team O has picked for the first slot, but IRL Sluts picking up Sejuani and Morgana again, just like last game. Yeah, you can go back in the VOD. I mean, I personally didn't stream the lobby, but I was here for 15 minutes waiting for you guys, so yeah. Anyway, Javante picking up the Zach. Urkan gonna go over to Team O as well, which is a decent pick into Morgana, I think. because how mobile Rakan can be. And we're gonna get a Xerath coming out from Morale on the side of IRL Sluts as well. So we're gonna get a bit of a different look from the mid laner here. He's gonna have a champion with a bunch of range, a lot of poke potential. And last game we did see LeBlanc coming out from him. So it's a big difference in terms of functionality for the mid lane now. Final ban's coming out on the side of IRL Sluts. They're going to take away Brand and Misfortune. We'll see what Teemo's final ban is. They've taken Caitlyn off the table. That was a big problem from their last game. It's going to be a Dr. Mundo this time, which I believe they left open last game, but neither team opted for the Dr. Mundo. ORNN was taken away this time as well, so we're not going to see that coming out from Kyoshi. He got a nice first blood off of the ORNN pick last game. You're gonna get Ashe picked up here on the side of Team O. I'm not sure if that's a placeholder or not, but pretty sure that's a real pick. I haven't seen Ashe in a very long time.
She's in love with him. Very much.
And Tryndamere, which I have no idea if that's placeholder or not either. But hopefully they're communicating properly on the other side. And Jinx and Xerath is a pretty famous pairing just because they have the ability to poke down someone to very low health and finish them off with Jinx Rocket. Gonna get the restart coming out here on the side of Teemo because they do have at least one placeholder.
She's in love with him. Very much.
And a bit of a placeholder bans coming out on the side of IRL. These weren't actually their bans. They just want to make sure to move along as quickly as possible. Going in alphabetical order, it looks like. Alistar, Mumu, and Anivia. Tryndamere actually is a for real Z pick here. Tim T's gonna take it onto the Rift for the first time in Prophecy Cup since perhaps as long as Season 1 or Season 2. Perhaps this is the first time, in fact, that Tryndamere's getting played in Prophecy Cup. Not really sure. It has become a much stronger pick recently in solo queue because of
Understood.
essentially the lack of any other strong top laners. And of course his sort of personality as a brawler.
Playtime's over.
Any champion that can just all in at any moment's notice, like Tryndamere, is become more and more potent. Orianna actually going to be the mid lane pick for Hamlet against the Xerath. And Aatrox, as we saw, was the last pick for IRL Sluts. It's going to go top lane to match up against this Tryndamere in a really high stakes matchup. Quick picks here. Gavroche locking that Ashe for himself, and Morgana, as we saw, was their first pick on the side of IRL Sluts. They really favor the Sejuani and Morgana for both their support and their jungler. And we'll get to see a very, very strong, actually, duo pairing in the Ashe and Rakan. They have a lot of CC that they can chain onto a target. It'll be up to 2 Poppy to really deny that chain CC with the black shield. I personally like to see Team O really pressure that bot side because it is vulnerable. If Javante can properly track Sejuani and hold her down on her side and maybe even get a gank into the bot lane early, it'll be really, really effective for them, I think. At the same time, both teams have opted into very risky top laners, so you know, whether that matchup swings in one way or another will usually determine which champion in the top lane has the advantage for the rest of the game, so that can be a very, very important laning phase as well for the top laners. And again, as for the mid lane, these just look like picks that will facilitate their champions in the other lanes, so it's a little bit of a surprising draft for me, considering that both Hamlet and Morale are considered their strongest players individually on each team. But in this case, they're going to take over more of a assisting capacity for this game with the Orianna and the Xerath. Orianna with the superior scaling, Xerath with the superior range for sure. We'll have to see how well Morale is able to tether his range as a long range carry. If he's able to stay away from the grasp of Rakan and Zac and every other threat that Teemo presents, then he should be able to do everything that his team needs him to do, which is get damage onto the priority carries from a distance. But that's easier said than done. Morgana's black shields, like I said before, they're going to be pivotal, not only in the laning phase, but in team fights. And we'll see how Poppy Chulo approaches this game, because he's not normally known as a player who can play carry champions to their fullest extent. He, from time to time, will pick up that Singed, but for the most part, he is exclusively a tank player, showing a lot of potency on champions like Ornn and like Maokai, when Maokai was in the meta, as well as Cho'Gath. And oftentimes he does neglect his own lane in the pursuit of helping out mid lane and bot lane. So we'll see if Timty actually can can take advantage of that on this Tryndamere, who's going to want to stay in the side lane as long as possible. In my opinion, though, this matchup is definitely Aatrox favored. He has the ability to have 2 lives. He's actually a very tanky champion as the game goes on, even if he builds damage. And it's going to be essential for the junglers, essentially, to have their say on this matchup in the 1v1 top lane. IRL Sluts, if you're just joining us, IRL Sluts did take game 1 with a very strong performance, especially demonstrating their strong early game and their strong mastery over vision control and the neutral objectives. Ian was able to get a massive advantage over Javante early on in the game, which helped them speed up their advantages in the side lane and in the, to a lesser extent, but still to some extent in the mid lane as well. Javante was able to fight back fairly well in protecting his mid laner and being a bit more aggressive than Ian in the mid lane, but ultimately it was bot lane, I would say, that sort of sealed the deal for the IRL Sluts, gaining the massive advantage that they had in game 1. This time, iGlory is going to be hopping onto a different carry in the name of Jinx, but very similar in terms of Caitlyn, very similar itemization. Gonna probably want to pick up an Infinity Edge or the other new item as a first item for her. Also going to take Fleet Footwork for that extra sustain. And going to be relying on 2 Poppy for those clutch black shields. This matchup, Jinx versus Ashe, is actually very reminiscent of Season 4 and Season 5 when... Well, I will say Season 4. Not so much... Well... Jinx was at her strongest point in Season 4, but Ashe had glimmers of strength in Season 4, but mainly in Season 5, so... There we go. Got the scene to change there. It actually is game 2. Just edit this real quick.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Standard starts coming out from both sides.
Minions have spawned.
IRL Sluts again on the red side, or on the blue side. And we're gonna get a red buff start for Javante. Nice little poke going down in the mid lane. Lots of pings going down mid lane. Signaling a ward was placed, but in reality, no ward was actually placed. So Morale may be getting a red herring there. That Hamlet had placed the ward when he actually hadn't. Morale also, interestingly enough, taking minion dematerializer on the Xerath for the extra wave clear. Something that we see off and on from certain champions. Nice stun there coming out from 2 Poppy. That's going to be Gavardshi going down for first blood. Really nice chain CC there coming out from iGlory into Poppy. iGlory taking the Chompers level 2 in order to get that play off. Timty taken down about half health here. He should be able to heal up in time, but Aatrox has the range advantage, so this is why the matchup is so difficult for the Tryndamere. He's actually going to spin in here, get the slow up. I don't like this trade very much. It's on the back end of a minion wave, though, so he will get the better of that trade. But Poppy Chulo should be able to heal up here, because he is an Aatrox. I actually see Javante sneaking up into the top lane here. Ian's going to be able to match it. Oh, Javante's actually going to complete the teleport, though, not knowing that Ian's here. And Timty's going to have to flash away. He doesn't have enough range there to spin out. Definitely Javante showing his weaknesses here in this series. Not quite able to read where the enemy jungle is going to be before it happens, and it's costed them. Definitely a situation where I would have liked to seen Ian stay top lane, be a bit more of a pain in the side of that flashless Tryndamere, but he opts to recall, pick up a skirmisher saber, and path into bot side for Gromp, or potentially a gank in bot lane. Javante on the Krugs right now. Hamlet getting very low. He's gonna have to expend his cleanse here, but that's not a... Well, it is a really bad trade because he also has to flash away. Morale expending his flash as well. So both mid laners now very easy targets for junglers. They're both being called. They're gonna run into each other and spot one another out. Morale gonna respect the Zac there. I don't know why a spectator wants to watch bot lane while this is going on, but I can fix that. Sejuani gonna be hanging around mid lane, but gonna get spotted out. Gonna be aware of that as well. Javante did not see Sejuani move, and she's gonna actually sit in this Raptor camp. Nice damage going down onto the AD carry of Teemo. IRL being given a free recall here. iGlory actually going to pick up a BF sword and a bit of brown paper bags on the feet for their first blood troubles. 2 Poppy also completing his upgraded Spell Thief's Edge item, getting a control ward and a couple of health pots for the first blood. That is where the advantage lies in the bot lane right now, just like last game. Svensson trying to help Gavroche push this wave out. They haven't had much say in the lane so far due to that early death, but I believe Ashe will be able to recall now and get the BF sword that she wants, which is an improvement from last game where she wasn't able to buy the BF sword for about 15 minutes, which massively complicated the game for the entire squad of Teemo. Hamlet walking back a little bit there in mid lane after Xerath gets the shove off. Hamlet's actually, or excuse me, Morale has actually on the Xerath used all of his minion dematerializer, so he has full strength now to push in the lane. Tim T gonna spin in there onto Poppy Chulo. Not gonna get very much damage off, but he's gonna get that heal off. Ultimate coming down. Two Poppy waiting in the wings here for a potential snipe. Morale knew he had the support of his support there, so he felt very comfortable taking that trade. He's actually going to path bot away from his base into 2 Poppy, which is very intelligent. They have a chance here to kill the Zac, but they're unable to pass his pop his passive, excuse me. So Javante getting out of there with just the skin on his... Oh, he's actually going to kill himself. That was very undisciplined by Javante to lose his passive there. Nice roam, though, from Daddy Nahor. And again, another cool, calm, and collected game from IRL Sluts. They have advantages now in mid lane and bot lane. And for the most part, they also have an advantage in top lane. Svensson looking for this engage, ultimating without the assistance of Gavroche's ultimate though. Gonna cost him his life. You gotta shake your head at that one. Not sure what Svensson was thinking. But Gavroche was yet to have enchanted crystal arrow, so he essentially just kills himself. Big oof indeed. Javante channeling here. Not gonna get anyone yet, but Aguilera's gonna have to flash 2 Poppy as well. Very risky gank. Gavroche is gonna get a double kill perhaps. Oh, stopwatch being broken by 2 Poppy. He's not able to walk out. Javante jumping in. This is very risky. I don't think I like that. Ian's gonna finish off Gavroche. Oh, Svensson's gonna miss the W. Ouch. That's not a good look. Just a lot of unnecessary fighting, I think. But in the end, both bot laners are going to be taken out from IRL Sluts in exchange for an accompanying kill onto Gavroche. Gavroche is actually itemized into a Bilgewater Cutlass this game. So it's clear that he wants the 1v1s. Tim T has to pop his ultimate here. Poppy Chulo hasn't popped his yet. Now he's going to flash in with his ultimate and kill off Tim T with a nicely timed Q there. Really nicely done from Poppy Chulo. That early advantage working in IRL Sluts' favor currently. Let's see what his abilities are. The Darkened Blade, Infernal Chains, Umbral Dash. I can't remember those. Darkened Blade. And off that kill in the top lane, Poppy Chulo is going to get his Black Cleaver, which is a massive upgrade. He doesn't have boots, but I don't think he needs them at this point. He might even have the rune that gives him free boots. I'm not sure. Actually, no. He would have had it at this point, but he doesn't. So Tryndamere is going to have a slight movement speed advantage, but Javante jumping in here, forcing out Morale's flash. A little disrespectful from the mid laner. Nice gank coming in from Javante. Nothing gonna result in that though, other than the flash. Two Poppy's gonna be walking forward. Just barely misses the bind. But he is gonna complete his quest here. Miles ahead of Svensson, who also took the Spell Thief's Edge support item route. And it's going to be a massive grouping here in the bot lane. It's going to spell a lot of alarm bells for Teemo. They're going to knock down this turret and potentially get Jinx going. And yeah, Svensson walking into his death right off the back of Jinx popping her passive. Never a good look for a Rakan there. Woo! Not looking too good. Hamlet popping his ultimate for one player, and Ian whiffing his. Yikes indeed. And I mean, we could start the discussion over relative strengths of teams here. I think it's pretty clear that IRL looks a lot better than Teemo at the moment. But the question is IRL really the real deal here? Are they actually one of the top 4 or 5 teams? And I think, you know, I think that question is unanswered because of the fact that they've not really faced a very good opponent yet on the ladder. All their wins coming from bottom tier teams. Hashling Slashers, Teemo. A free win coming off of a free TAK forfeit. So you got to ask yourself, is IRL Sluts really a team that can contest for playoffs when the time comes? Because you expect them to make playoffs, but you don't really expect them to win any playoff games at the moment. Tim T getting chased here down here by Papichulo. Javante's going to try to save him, but it's not going to be enough. Papichulo still has his ultimate activated. It's going to run out soon, though, and I think he's going to go down to Javante. Nope. Javante's going to get his passive popped, and Papichulo's going to walk out. Oh. Nicely done there from Morale to finish off the kill on Javante. They did not have the support there of Orianna, so it ends up being a 2-for-0. Morale showing his strength in the mid lane and his prowess, really exerting his dominance over the game. Oh my. That's a very optimistic enchanted crystal arrow coming out from Ashe there. And it's just going to sail wide. But the point being that even if he hit that ultimate, he still has the black shield to contend with. Svensson popping his ult. 2 Poppy, Fearless going in, getting the ignite on to Gavroche, and Gavroche's going to have to expend his heal, but it's not going to be enough. It's a double kill going over to iGlory. Nicely set up there from Darth Nahor to get iGlory the double kill. And yeah, Teemo's weakness has clearly been demonstrated in the bot lane this game, as well as last game. But I mean, you could say they have a weak bot lane, but at the same time, you expect the other lanes to be picking up the slack, because those are the 2 lanes in the top and mid for Teemo that have all their points, and they haven't exactly taken over the game themselves to the extent that IRL Sluts bot lane have. Oh boy, Javante popping in here, gonna go down most likely. He's making a lot of decisions this game in particular that you gotta question, because he doesn't have complete information. He doesn't know where Jinx is. He doesn't know where Morgana is. It's just a little bit lazy, for sure. Whenever you make a decision that's as aggressive as that, you generally want to have as much information as possible, but he just didn't. Hamlet having to expend his flash there, another lazy play. Trying to get a recall off in a bad situation. Rakan gonna go down here to Ian. Papichulo is quite far ahead now. He can freely darken blade at his will. We're gonna pop the Rift Herald here just for a bit of an extra. I mean, you don't even have to pop the Rift Herald here. It's really unnecessary. Javante coming in Two Poppy's gonna Black Shield. Nice auto attacks coming in from Igor. He's gonna finish off Hamlet. Poppy Chulo gonna get out with a sliver of health, but he has his ultimate as well. Igor taking some risky auto attacks here. She's looking for her passive proc to get out here though. They're not even gonna defend this turret. Teemo having a lot of difficulties. And it looks like we're going to have an Air Drake actually spawning next. So that's the next neutral objective on the table. Other than that, it's going to be a pretty quiet next couple of minutes in terms of neutral objectives. I think IRL Sluts can probably look to knock down that mid lane inhib at their leisure, as mid lane inhib turret is currently sitting at about half health. But slowly regenerating back up to about 2,000. Tryndamere pathing around Scuttle Crab in top lane. And they're looking to collapse here on Poppy Chulo, 2v1. Poppy Chulo has taken an intelligent route to get out though, because he did see Tryndamere on the Scuttle Crab. You can walk around here, but you're going to get seen in this corridor if you're on blue side there. So that's why Poppy Chulo made the intelligent decision to walk out. Yep, it's a bit of a wrap. I don't see any way for Teemo to come back into this game. Sierra's going to get stunned up, but Ian's going to be there for the backup, and that's going to be Rakan going down again. It's a bit of a last-ditch effort here, trying to stop this very, very strong IRL Sluts lineup currently. So the bot laners going down for Teemo. Not much they can do now. They have a decent amount of wave clear, but IRL Sluts are just too far ahead. And I'm getting hungry. Still haven't had dinner yet. I'm on the West Coast here, so I would definitely like this to wrap up as soon as possible. And yeah, you gotta shake your head at Teemo's performance. It's a bit disappointing. You want to see these bottom tier teams give it their best effort, and I'm sure they did tonight. But you want to see a competitive league. You want to see those last second week 9 matches mean something, and you know, when you're having games like this, it's hard to see any bright side to this team coming back into the season and contesting for playoff spots. But I will say that Teemo has had a strength of schedule that is fairly high. It's fairly been difficult. I think they've had to play Spell at Chat already, and I think they've also had to play Goth Boy Click. So those are teams that are very difficult to beat. Gavroche ultimating backward as she runs away on the Ashe. They try to siege mid lane, but it's just realistically never going to happen. They don't have enough damage to take that turret down before IRL Sluts can respond, and it's going to be a Baron handed over. Really, really unfortunate from the side of Teemo. IRL Sluts actually were able to push in bot lane as well, so Javante has to deal with this while the Baron buff goes over to IRL Sluts. iGlory. This game, again, building the Stormrazor, which has been a very nice item for him this series, showing its potency. Timty actually going to catch Morale here out. He's probably dead. Oh, no. Can't exactly get the auto attack spacing in perfectly. Both champions had flash, so you expect Timty to be able to chase him down, but he wasn't able to catch up in time. And that would have been actually a pretty significant death for Morales, considering he's sitting on 17 stack Medjais. And he doesn't want to lose those stacks. The item essentially is rendered gold inefficient when it has less than 10 stacks. So the fact that it's got 17 means it's quite gold efficient. Javante getting caught out here trying to farm wolves. Something that we've sort of become accustomed to this series, seeing Javante in the places that he doesn't want to be. And there's Morale, looking like a scripter almost. That's how good his ultimates have been. It looks like he's point and clicking. Really, really strong performance off of Xerath, and I definitely wouldn't want to play against this Xerath. It's very, very annoying, for sure. I think that's the best way to put it. You know, it's not like you're dying in any fantastic sort of outplay, but instead you're just getting chipped down over and over again. Xerath with another double kill. Going massive with 25 stacks. iGlory Legendary. Has only died once this game. That's gonna be it. And I'm going to get dinner. Oh. One last punch out there. iGlory going out in a blaze of glory on the fountain. And yeah. Hopefully it wasn't too resident sleeper for you guys. But I'm headed out. I am pretty pooped.
Whenever your heart is broken, don't ever forget you're golden. I will find the light in your soul, I'll be there. Never leaving you in the darkness, even when you're out of focus. I will be the light in your life, you'll see it clear. I'll be your inspiration.